Hi, Telas members. I'm going to do a small preview of our project for next month. It's a Lone Star quilt. Let me begin by saying this is a very complicated, very hard quilt to do. It is for advanced quilters only. But we have simplified the pattern so that anyone can do it, every beginner, and it is very easy to do. Very frankly, Gloria Flores, Evie, Patty, we all tried this a couple of years back and we had a real bad time with it. The reason is that you had to match seams, you had to iron one way and the other, then of course you also had to have set-in squares. This takes this all away. So it is not complicated, it is not hard. If, Charlotte, you read the instructions and you follow the instructions, and it's very easy. First of all, we have Elena's quilt. Well, this is not Elena's quilt because she forgot her quilt. This is Bertha's quilt. And again, it's the autumn colors that we use, and it uses 3 fabrics: light, medium, and dark. So these are the ones for the Lone Star. It's only 3 fabrics, and they're 2.5 inches wide, and it makes this size quilt. And of course, she added the leaves as a border, but again, you can make it much larger by adding more borders. And then of course, we have, this is the one that we did again with the light, medium, and dark. Again, only 3 fabrics. It makes a very beautiful quilt, an autumn quilt. And then we have, Bertha made one with Chile fabric, and this is 5 fabrics, but again, just as easy to do. We had to applique a Chile here because she had a B cup coming out of the middle of it. So we had to smooth it down, but we put a little applique on it and it looks quite nice. Now, the biggest problem that you're going to have with this quilt, besides not following instructions, is working with your fabric. You're working with biases. So when you cut this fabric, the biggest problem is going to be if you stretch it, if you try and take out the seams, and then you start stretching the fabric, you're going to come up with a quilt that is not going to be very straight. And then the other thing is that when you press it, we have a tendency to press across our fabrics, and we use open seams on all of this. What we're going to do is be pressing every single time. You just use your iron and press down on it. You don't skim across it because you'll be stretching. These are all biases and they're very delicate. And if you stretch them, you're going to have a B cup sticking out of the middle, which is what can happen. So let me just give you a preview very quickly of the kinds of things that you're going to need. I am asking you, we used in the instance with the Harvest quilt, we used a light, a medium, and a dark fabric, which is what makes these quilts back here. And again, but you can do other colors as well. In this instance of the sample that I'm going to show you, I used a light, which is the pink, a turquoise, which is the medium, and this is the dark. 3 fabrics, and then this is the background fabric. You're going to cut 2.5 inches from each of these fabrics. And so you don't need a whole lot of fabric to go. To begin with, you're going to cut out 2.5 inch square, strips with the border of the light, 4 of the medium, and 3 of the dark. And you're going to make sets. And this is the important, let's begin with the important part of making these sets. You're going to do 3 sets, and what you're going to do is you're going to place them. Each set is going to be sewn together, but you separate it out by like an inch and a half or so. This is set 1. You start sewing in this direction, all 3. Press the seams open. This is set 2, and then of course set 3. And if you'll notice, each of them are separated a bit because you're going to cut on a diagonal. So you're going to make 3 strip sets, set 1, set 2, and set 3, and that's going to be enough to make your entire star. So that's what you begin with. And then you're going to move over to cutting your strips. Now this is important. What you start with is you use the 45-degree angle on your ruler. and you place it on the fabric in this manner. Excuse me. This is the 45-degree angle. So you're going to place it and cut out. Let me turn this around. Excuse me. Okay, I cannot do this to save my life. Here we go. So this is the 45-degree line. You're going to cut out the first diagonal so that you cut out this at a 45-degree angle. If you look at this, and the angle is 45 degrees, okay? And then from that, you're gonna cut 2.5-inch strips all the way across in the same direction. You can't turn it around. If you confuse the direction, you will have made a mistake. So from each set, you're going to cut 6 strips. From each strip set, you're going to cut 6 in order to make your Lone Star. Again, the important part about this is you have to sew a 1/4 inch, and then when you press it, you're pressing your seams open. That's the difference between the one we did before when you did one way, one the other way. This is better. You press the seams open, and when you press again, you press down on your iron. Do not press across it because you're going to be stretching the bias. So it's important that you just press all the way across. All right, let's move on to the next one. And I think I have that ready, more or less. I have my assistants here. All right, so now you have your strip sets again. Remember, in this instance, we had a light, medium, and a dark, a medium, a dark, and a medium, and then again, a dark, a medium, and a light. This is what's gonna make your diamonds, and you're going to use 3 diamonds, 3 strips to make 1 diamond. You can see the diamond here, and you're going to sew them together. And again, the key to sewing these together is really important. You want these to match as much as possible. And how you're going to do it is by using your pins. And so you stick your pin in about a 1/4 inch, and then you match it a 1/4 inch to the other side. Bring your fabrics together, and then be careful how you pin it because it can stretch the fabric. You do that with both of them so that they're right on the seam, and then you're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way across, and you should have a matching set. And this will be one of the diamonds, and again, it'll look like this. You're going to make 6 diamonds in this same fashion, and that's going to create your baseline for your quilt. Okay, so here is 1/4 of the quilt. So this is the diamond itself. You're sewing them together, and when you set it up, you have to make sure that you're setting it up exactly like this. If you try and do it separately, so you do 1/4 at a time, and again, the background pieces, I'll have all the cutting instructions with you. You're going to do 2 7-inch squares for the corner, and then you're going to diagonally cut them across so you have a diagonal. The one here is a 10-inch, and you're also going to cut that into a diagonal. Before, these were set in squares, which was really hard to do. Now what you're doing is you're sewing all the way across, and what makes it easier is that you're just sewing 1 diagonal all the way across, and that makes it easier. No set in squares. So you're going to make 4 of these, which is 2 diamonds, 2 of the large triangles, 2 of the small triangles, make 1/4 of the quilt. 2 of these will make half, and then 2 halves, of course, will make the whole. And once you do that, as you can see back here, this is 1/4 of the quilt here, and it has 2 diamonds. And of course, then you add the other half with the other 2 diamonds, and then and then the other set. And again, I think I said at the very beginning that you cut 6 out of each strip set. You actually cut 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'll have all of those instructions on there. Easy to do. This can be a very difficult quilt to make, and it can drive you nuts. But the way this quilt is put together is much easier, again, because of the diagonal that is here. It's no longer a set-in square. And again, the stitches in the seams in the back are pressed open, so you don't have to put one going one way and one going the other way. So again, I hope you will enjoy making this quilt. As I said, it's very, very difficult for people who don't wish to read any directions or follow along, but it is very easy to do. Elena has made one, Bertha has made 2 so far, Norma has made one as well, and so they've come out all beautiful. And even when you have a B cup in the middle, you can put a little design. This is Norma's back here, and she embroidered a beautiful set of flowers in the middle. And again, it makes a beautiful autumn quilt, but again, you can use festive colors. Mardi Gras is going to be coming up soon. You can use it as a Mardi Gras star. You can make all different kinds of stars. You can make it a very large quilt. This one has that I can show you how to do as well. This one is 5 fabrics. And the one that Bertha made with the chilies, right? With the chilies is also 5 fabrics. So you have an opportunity to do this as well. But again, it's a 2.5-inch strip. Again, it is very, very easy to do the strip sets, press the seams open, and make a Lone Star quilt in a very easy fashion. Something that again looks very complicated, but very easy to do. I promise, Charlotte, I really do. Enjoy.